Thank you to so many, certainly everyone that was on the program. I always like to give inside stories. You know how Ulster, Alabama became a part of our program? I was going to the World Cup last July, going in the west side of NRG Stadium, and the U of H mariachi band was there entertaining our guests. I witnessed this officer on duty walk up and ask for the microphone. We were spellbound by the inclusion and that community engagement that we all desire. By the time I got into the VIP room, my details said that he'd got in trouble with his sergeant that told him that's not his duty. Well, you've heard a lot about me today. What do you think I did? I said, get him in the VIP room. He will be on my State of the City program. I'm so proud. And he's just one of the thousands of police officers that are engaging in our community. And you know what? You're going to see me smile a lot today, because I have a lot to smile about. First of all, I want to smile because I'm not giving the state of the city of New York, LA, or Chicago. Makes me want to go to work every day. But also, I'm smiling because I have the opportunity to recognize a very special group. And there are many special groups here today. Certainly to the partnership in Houston First, and this room is full of stakeholders that help make Houston the great city it is. But friends, we couldn't be having this event or getting ready for the visitors of the rodeo, the baseball classic, Fleet Week, or certainly the World Cup, without the hotel workers. You and I know this was scheduled on September 25th. Scheduled on September 25th. I was so ready, and I've been ready each day leading up to this. But when I was running for office, I met the members of Unite Here. They told me they made $14 an hour in a city-owned facility. I said, no, that will not be allowed under my administration. They were forced to go on strike for 40 days. I've asked them to be my guests today. Willie, Gonzalez, and some of your leadership, please stand. Please recognize them. Thank you. Thank you for what you do to help make this a great city, and your co-workers that are providing the service today. As I mentioned, I like to give inside real people stories. I actually picked the song today, You'll Never Walk Alone in Houston, Texas. And these workers knew they would never walk alone because I was down at City Hall working. And every politician in town was over here taking photo ops with them. But I had their back covered, and they knew it. You know how we solved it? I explained to Hilton, which is a great American corporation, that we were going to build another convention hotel with the development and expansion of George Brown. And I sure hoped they were going to be on the list that we considered. But one of the tests for who we would ultimately choose is how do you treat your employees? That's how experience matters. And that's what brings us here today. You know, Houston is a great city. with great people. We have challenges like other major cities, but we meet our challenges. And so let me go ahead and declare today, because I know it'll be reported, what was the State of the City message? It said, Houston is a strong city and is getting stronger every day. And it's getting stronger every day because we're working together, collaboration. And let me stop and thank Houstonians for giving me this opportunity. It was a tough decision for me. It was a tough decision for me. I was the most senior state senator, chairman of criminal justice, making the entire state safer. On finance, bringing resources back to U of H, TSU, in our community as a member of finance. But I got that call from Houstonians. We want you to run for mayor. And I said, no, I like what I'm doing. I have grandkids. Then they called back the next week and said, what would it take to get you to consider running? I said, well, first, that's a tricky, unfair question for somebody that loves public service and loves people. But I said, I'll tell you what, let's get in a car and drive across Houston. Same way you do. Our infrastructure had been neglected for years. Illegal dumping, homelessness, public safety was our number one concern. So after considering what needed to get done, I made a tough decision. But I don't regret it one day. I made the right decision. I prayed on it. I talked to many of you in this room. Houston needed my experience in relationships. And let me thank Houstonians for their support, not just to get me here, but everywhere I go across Houston, people are supportive and thanking me for moving this city in the right direction. It inspires me to even do more. And let me tell you, before I go any further, I didn't do it alone. My city council members are here. They work hard. County commissioners, thank you for the collaboration. Thank you for my team. I wish time allowed me to introduce every one of my department directors. They're hardworking, they're professional, they're competent, and they're honest. Some people came out of retirement to work for me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving in the right direction. And why we are, the reason is, and Houstonians recognize it, is I'm keeping my campaign commitments. I said throughout the campaign, if we're not safe, nothing else matters. It was true then, it's true today, and it'll be true tomorrow. I'm so proud of our first responders. Firemen hadn't had a contract in 8 years. We couldn't recruit anybody. We were low on ambulance drivers. 8 years without a contract. The first class I spoke to had 30 cadets in it, and they would tell you, we're just getting our certification here. We're going somewhere else to work. I spoke to 100 cadets recently. It's making a difference. HPD, we were losing more people to other agencies or retirement than we were recruiting. There's 274 cadets in class today. You saw some of those outstanding people. We've had 746 new graduations since I became mayor. And it's just only fair that I interject right now. I've only been in office 2 years. Some of my critics have been in office 6 years. That's fine. Little criticism is not mad. It motivates me. But the praise coming from across Houston keeps me fired up. I go alone in my pickup to have dinner across Houston. All communities. I'm hearing the same thing. People are feeling that morale. They're seeing the streets being repaired. When we were sworn in, 1,900 broken water mains. You know, I grew up in Houston, went to Waltrip High School, U of H. Many of us can remember where the streets were not in that condition. Broken water mains were not the issue. We felt safe. So our city is strong and getting stronger, and when they go to print, maybe they will be accurate and say, my vision, Whitmire's vision, shared by everyone here and across this great city, is a city that works, a city that the public can depend on to be responsive, not waste their tax dollars, and be honest. No conflicts of interest, corruption. The mayor's commitment to not raise taxes until we eliminate waste, duplication, conflicts of interest, and corruption. And ladies and gentlemen, I still run across it, and I turn in that corruption and conflicts of interest into the authorities. We're moving in the right direction. Now that infrastructure that we care so much about, got an outstanding public works director. Well, let me give you another little insider. He's an attorney. The city ordinance says you have to be an engineer to head public works. But he was a can-do person. I knew he could get the job done. Hell, he has 300 engineers that work for him. We got to use some common sense. We want to get things done. We're going to pave 1,000 road miles this year. Spend $500 million on drainage and road improvement. Improve and replace 200 miles of pipes, water pipes across this great city. We have a total of 7,200. We have a lot of work to do. Now let me also let you in on an insider. The East Side Water Plant. Have you ever had someone stand up before you that's responsible for your safety and welfare in the economy of this great city? Our water treatment plant that furnishes 60% of Houston's water was built in 1954. It's just this side of Galena Park. If you visit it, it looks like it was built in 1954. It furnishes the water to all the petroleum chemical plants. We have to do something about it. And it's a good time for me to go ahead and talk about working across the aisle. I had a reputation in Austin of getting things done by not making it personal. We can disagree with some of our fellow officials, and I strongly disagree with some of the leadership. But you don't have to be disagreeable, because if somebody wants to work with me to fix and improve Houston, I will go anywhere, anytime. We don't have time for politics. I don't have time for partisanship. I want to get things done. And we're getting monies. Austin gave us $100 million last session to build a new lift station for that water plant. That's unheard of for Austin to give local government that kind of resource. My serving in the legislature and working across the aisle benefits Houston each and every day. Like $18 million in the budget for Houston City Parks. Thank you, Armando Wally, who's on the conference committee. But let me go ahead. Thank you to our county commissioners, the collaboration of working in parks that they serve, and it happens to be in the city of Houston. We're putting lots of resources into our parks. Now, let me also be real candid with you. Solid waste has to improve. I replaced the director 6 months ago. The previous director had me fooled, and I left him there too long. We had a broken system. Most of the garbage trucks were staying in the shop. We got 50 new garbage trucks, a new director, employees, and a new model, a new route decision. We're not going to put money in a broken system. So we're moving forward. But I live in Houston. Grandkids, daughters live in Houston. You live in Houston. We're going to improve that system, whatever it takes. Economic development. You've seen such a display today already. We've been discovered, and it's our duty, each and every one of us, responsibility is to be prepared. Share the Houston experience with everyone that comes here. And let's not forget, they mentioned it in the presentation, the video. Do you know how many meetings I'm in to get ready for the World Cup? And FIFA says we're better prepared than any other major city. Thank you. Thank you to the Sports Authority, the host committee. They call us the grown-up city. That makes a difference, as Michael mentioned. We're the grown-up city. We're the can-do city. And it's only going to get better. But in those meetings, I usually interrupt them and say, now, wait a minute. We're increasing public safety, transportation, shuttles between downtown and the airport. We're doing so many things right in preparation for the World Cup. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to treat Houstonians like they're our World Cup visitors as well. And that's why when I talked about that park money, yes, we've got our iconic Memorial Park in Herman. But we need neighborhood parks, pocket parks we refer them to, 1 and 2 acres that we say, let's have fun. Quality of life matters. We woke up this morning with 2.3 million Houstonians, and it's growing. But today we had 700,000 people. Think about it. 700,000 people traveled to Houston today to work or attend events. And that explains a lot of our traffic, which if I had a magic wand, I would improve traffic. But we are expecting Metro to be more efficient, clean, safe, do a better job, get value for each dollar that they receive. We're making progress is what I want everyone to leave here with. And I'm prepared to give 6 years, the remaining best years of my life for Houston, working 18-hour days with a team that is the best in America. Now let me close on something that is critical to everything we've talked about, the city's finances. I've worked with 9 mayors. I went to Austin in 1973. Hell, I remember Louis Welch. I bet there's not 10 people in here that can raise their hand. Worked with McCon, worked with Kathy Whitmire for 10 years. Bob Lanier, outstanding public servant. He got $500 million from Metro. He was such a smart individual. Coming right up to current times, other mayors sold off property. Other mayors fired individuals. Some had the benefit of COVID funding. Before I got there, the last 2 budgets had federal funding balancing city responsibilities. But let me just tell you one of the smartest things I've done, and I'll get near the end. We knew that there was waste and duplication and conflicts in city government. From my experience of working and being the city's voice in Austin. But we soon realized we could not transform the city operation and look for the efficiency that you deserve until we hired Ernst & Young to do a forensic audit. Are you ready? They found out we had more city employees than any other major city per capita. That 40% of our supervisors supervise 3 or fewer people. Like other major cities, you just keep building. You don't ever look at how you got to this way. So we came up with a very sensible, compassionate incentive program. We'll give you 3 months advance salary. Keep your health costs constant. We had 1,056 people took advantage of that. We saved $100 million. We balanced the budget this year with efficiency, collaboration with other levels of government, and of course some of my critics, who only make me better, said, oh, you're going to have to raise property taxes this past fall. Well, I want to remind those individuals, we done flown by November and we didn't raise taxes. And let me also commit, we're not going to raise taxes in this next budget cycle. We're going to look for efficiencies, collaboration, eliminate corruption and conflicts. It can be done and it will be done. I'm concerned about affordability like all of us are. Fees, taxes impact affordability. And it's not just the one fee that you're talking about, but what does that go on top of? Are you ready? I get calls from around the country, major cities asking me, how did you do it? You know, I served in the Senate with Kirk Watson, the mayor of Austin, and Eric Johnson in Dallas. We were colleagues. I can't believe, in visiting with them and reading some of their decisions, there's no way Kirk Watson in Austin should have asked for a 20% increase in property taxes without doing an Ernst & Young study. Demonstrate to the people that you've saved money every possible way before you ask for a 20% property tax increase. It went down 63%. Kirk, Eric, and Dallas just lost their largest downtown tenant, AT&T, because of the homeless conditions and public safety. Happens to be 2 of our highest priorities, and we're making a difference. Downtown, Central Houston is our partners. Go look at the promenade on Main Street. Discovery Green is a jewel. Marketplace. And I want you to hear this today. We are rapidly working on Tranquility Park. Tranquility Park is across the street from the Hobby Center. It's been ignored for years. It's across the street from the city. Thank you, Central Houston, Public Works, and my Parks Department. It will soon be a destination location. It will complement the Hobby Center. So we have so much to go. I don't have the time to cover everything, but we're making a difference. Who thought we could ever combine the 2 Martin Luther King parades? I was told when I got there 2 years ago, don't go there, Mayor. Other white mayors have tried. Black mayors couldn't get it done. The city of Houston allows the 2 parades by permitting. Each parade costs HPD about $300,000 to provide safety. The neat thing is, I just want to get things done. I'm not even worried about the next election. So I called in the stakeholders and the sponsors, proud organizations, the Black Heritage Society, the Martin Luther King Grande Parade. And I said, okay, my friends who I've known as a senator for years, we're going to have one parade this year. You need it for our safety. You can't have a parade for the same purpose in downtown and one in midtown at the same time. Made no sense. And you can't believe, remember I told you when I started, the support I've got across Houston and the thank yous. The African American community is so excited because I merged those institutions. And the theme was Dr. King was all about unity. What a better way to honor Dr. King than to bring people together. So let me just tell you, I'm fired up. I'm inspired. I could give you some even larger vision than where we are now. But some of my critics will say Whitmire's just teasing us. Well, I got some witnesses in this room will tell you I'm not a tease, okay? I'm a can-do guy. But what if someday, to address our flooding, we ran huge pipes along I-10 from the Barker Reservoir to the Houston Ship Channel? Those pipes exist. We've actually had discussions with engineers. It would eliminate the flooding on the west side and Mireland and just kind of eliminate that fear factor every time we see a major storm. Let me also tell you that it is a vision of mine. It may not happen in my 2 terms, but why can't Metro's trains get to the airport? Why does a rail stop at Northline and Palm Center and 610 on the south? If we will partner with the federal government, and we do have relationships, we disagree strongly with some of the administration's positions, but they do have the resources. If we build that relationship, let us get our trains to our major airports, our 2 airports, like other great cities do. So let's have that as a vision. And here's one that I know so many will get excited about. What if we had water taxis downtown? Nancy, what if we went from the Bio Partnership of Sabine to the east side? Turn in some of our untapped resources and assets, and you could get on a water taxi downtown to go to the Astro game or the east side. Those are just things that we are. It ain't a tease. It's going to get done. It may not get done in the next 6 years, but we are actually meeting on these projects as I stand before you. And I would love to keep talking to you. I'm fired up. People say, why did you leave the Senate? Because I love Houston more. And it would be a sin to waste my experience, relationships, and the can-do attitude. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I got to go to work.